Today we're journeying to sunny Greece to make a classic and unique dessert called green walnut spoon sweets, or Glyko Karydaki. This is a black walnut picked while it is unripe and made into a sweet preserve to be eaten with a spoon and washed down with a cold glass of water. Join me today as I share with you the recipe and also the traditions associated with spoon sweets in Greece. Let's get started. The first step is to pick some green walnuts, whether from your own tree, a neighbor's tree, a wild tree, and make sure that they're young and haven't formed a shell yet. You can do this by sticking a knife through the walnut. If it goes all the way through, then a shell hasn't formed yet and you're good to go. For this recipe, I picked about 2.5 pounds. You're going to start by peeling the walnuts. You'll need to wear gloves so your skin doesn't get discolored. The easiest way to peel them is to pierce them with a skewer and use that to hold the walnut while you peel it. Spoon sweets are a traditional hospitality dessert. It's typical, at least in days of old, to have several jars of different kinds on hand to have for when guests come over. You're greeted with a silver tray laid with a doily, a small crystal plate, a glass of cold water, and sometimes a coffee. And then you're given your choice of sweet to enjoy. This is what they look like when you're finished. As they sit in the air, they start to turn brown. Then take the same skewer and pierce each walnut several times in different places all the way through. This is so that the water can penetrate all the way through the nut. Once finished, put the peeled and pierced walnuts into a large bowl and cover them with filtered water so they are fully submerged. Now you're going to let the walnuts soak for 7 days, changing the water once in the morning and once in the evening. After 7 days, they will have turned black or almost black. Now pour them into a large pot on the stove and cover them with water until they are fully submerged. Put the heat on high, and once they start to boil, set the timer for 5 minutes. Then drain them and put them back in the pot, covering them again with water. Bring it back to a boil and set the timer for 5 minutes again. You will do this a total of 5 times. The purpose of this is both to eliminate any bitterness left in the walnuts, as well as to soften and cook them. Once you have boiled them 5 times, drain them and cool a bit under cold running water. Then take a needle and pierce a walnut. If it falls right off, they are tender enough and you can go on to the next step. If not, repeat the boiling process until they are tender enough to fall off of a needle. Now to my pot, I'm adding 2.5 pounds of sugar, which is equal to the amount of green walnuts that I'm using, or 1 and 1.3 kilos, and 2 3/4 cup or 650 milliliters of water. Give that a stir, bring it up to a boil, let the sugar dissolve, and then you're going to add, if you want, you can add a cinnamon stick and maybe 4 or 5 cloves to your pot. I also added in 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. And another traditional flavoring is to add in a couple leaves of rose geranium, which I tried to find at local nurseries but wasn't able to, so I just added in vanilla as a substitute. You're going to boil the sugar syrup until it reaches 225 degrees Fahrenheit or 107 degrees Celsius. It's best to have a candy thermometer on hand for this so that you can see when it reaches that syrup stage. Then add in a 1/4 cup or 60 milliliters of lemon juice and let that come to a rolling boil, and then pour in your prepared and boiled green walnuts. Let those come back to a boil and then set the timer for 20 minutes and leave them on the stove to boil in the sugar syrup. The Greeks are so creative and resourceful. They make spoon sweets out of so many different things such as cherries, strawberries, apricots, citrus peels such as orange and bergamot. They make them out of pistachios and rose petals, grapes. The list goes on and on. Once the 20 minutes is up, you're going to spoon them into sterilized glass jars and store them in the fridge. You may be able to can these, but you'll need to look into the canning safety guidelines of your country first. I hope you enjoyed seeing me make this unique dessert. If you're watching this video when it's published in August, you will need to wait until next year, mid-May to mid-June to make these. But I hope I opened up your eyes to a whole range of desserts called spoon sweets from Greece. They're made out of all sorts of seasonal fruits, nuts, flower petals, all sorts of things, to be eaten either by themselves or enjoyed over Greek yogurt or ice cream. If you'd like to see me make a different kind of spoon sweet, let me know below. I could make something in the wintertime out of citrus, such as orange peels. If you learned something and enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more European baking and dessert adventures, and comment below and let me know, is this your first time hearing about Greek spoon sweets? I'll see you next week, and in the meantime, check out these two videos while you're waiting.